Not everyone's happy that the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, the much anticipated successor, the follow-up to the EOS R5, is going to be getting a 60 megapixel sensor. Well, at least that's what rumors are saying, unvalidated rumors. Is 60 megapixels too much? What about 45 or even 50? Stick around after this short break for all the details. But first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter, but most importantly, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, really does help this channel grow, and keeps you up to date on the latest camera gear news and rumors. Just a few days ago, the Camera Insider posted leaked specifications for the upcoming Canon EOS R5 Mark II, and one of the specifications that has a lot of people upset is that the sensor is going to have 60 megapixels. Now, we don't even know at this point if it's going to be stacked, but I certainly hope so. With the Nikon Z8 coming out with a stacked sensor for around $39.99, I can imagine that Canon's feeling the pressure to put a stacked sensor in the Canon EOS R5 if one isn't already there. Have you ever heard the expression, the squeaky wheel gets the attention? Well, it's something like that. I can't quite remember the exact words, but when it comes to the Canon EOS R5 rumored to get 60 megapixels, whenever that has come out or whenever we've talked about sensor resolution, I get a lot of comments, an awful lot of comments saying 60 megapixels is too much. I think 45 is perfect. I even get a few people saying, you know what, why can't we produce a full frame camera from Canon around 30 to 32 megapixels? And if you're thinking there is, think again, those are APS-C censored cameras such as the Canon EOS R7 and the old DSLR, the 90D. Perhaps 60 megapixels is too much. Perhaps most of the people watching this channel would rather have 45 or 50 megapixels. While this channel doesn't have the same reach as, what's that guy in New York, Fronos, or Tony Northrup and Chelsea, I think they're in Connecticut. It's all in that northeastern area, or even DP Review. Sorry, Patapixel. With 41,000 subscribers, I think I can conduct a pretty good, relatively scientific-ish poll, data-based, asking you, the viewer, what you think. And I've had a poll out there for about a day already, and at the time of recording, I already had 500 respondents, and this is the question I asked. What resolution should the EOS R5 Mark II have? Then I thought I'd start off with 60 megapixels because that's what this video is all about, that 60 megapixels is or isn't too much. 50 megapixels I think is kind of a sweet spot for video because if you're shooting video in 8K, that now gives you a chance to shoot 8.6K oversampled 8K when you're doing full sensor readout, and of course you're getting a bit more detail in 4K as well. And then I kept the resolution the same, giving you a choice of 45 megapixels, but based on a few of those commenters that said, you know what, I'd rather be right around 30 to 32 megapixels, 45 is too much for me, I went and put that as an option too. So let's go ahead and take a look at the results. Now the first results we're going to look at is for 30 to 32 megapixels, and you might be surprised at how low this is. Only 4% of respondents said, yeah, I'd like the R5 Mark II to have 30 to 32 megapixels. So then let's take a look at the next option, which is 45 megapixels. Now this one here is a little bit surprising. It only achieved 30% of respondents saying they want to stay at 45 megapixels, and then 19% at 50 megapixels. So if you're doing the math in your head already, you can pretty much figure out that most of Canon customers that are in the market for the Canon EOS R5, and maybe some that aren't, want 60 megapixels by the tune of 47%. And that number almost magically matches up to Canon's market share worldwide. Coincidence? Yeah, definitely is. My little survey here has nothing to do with Canon's worldwide sales, but almost 50% of my respondents are saying that, yeah, you know what, we want 60 megapixels, it isn't too much. But is it? I kind of think about this, I wonder about this, and if I'm shooting video, most of the times I'm shooting 4K, but I'm shooting in that HQ mode. And 4K HQ is where we get that full sensor readout, we get oversampled, and we get an awful lot of detail, so you could say that most of the time, pretty well all the time, I'm shooting in 8K. Even right now I'm shooting in 8K because I'm shooting 4K HQ. So I'm taking advantage of that 8K, whether I'm outputting in 8K or whether I'm recording in 8K, getting that full sensor readout, downsampled in camera, giving me 4K files, that certainly has a benefit. But when I'm shooting stills, sometimes I don't even want to shoot at 45 megapixels. What I'll often do is I'll change it from large to medium, or I'll just crop it in post. And because I don't shoot an awful lot of stills anymore, I just leave it at the largest possible size, and then that gives me the flexibility in post. I'm a different use case, and your use cases are different as well, what scenarios you shoot in. But I'm really curious to know what you think, and I'd love to get your comments down below, but what I'd also like you to do is participate in the poll. Use this link right here. Basically, if you go to my YouTube page, you click on my channel name, it's going to give you a whole bunch of different menus, and one of those is Community. And that's where you'll see this poll here, asking you what resolution you'd like to see in the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. However, don't get too excited. Even if I get 20,000 respondents or even 100,000 respondents, I don't think this is going to impact Canon too much. In fact, I believe that Canon's been doing their own market research over the past year to 18 months, asking Canon EOS R3 owners what they're looking for in the R1. And of course, whenever you get information about the R1, people are also going to talk about that 5 series camera. So I think Canon knows what they're doing. I'm pretty sure that this camera is going to be somewhere between 45 and 60 megapixels. Now, what you're hearing about 60 megapixels from the Camera Insider, it hasn't been validated. That information hasn't been validated. It's coming from a source of theirs, and it's got everybody wondering if it's going to be 60 megapixels. And we will know soon enough. This camera is supposed to be announced sometime in late Q4 or the first half of 2024. But according to Canon rumors, it is supposed to come out before the R1. So I think the best time frame for an announcement is right around, let's say, October the 27th, all the way through to, well, CP Plus. And I don't know what time it starts this year, but let's say the middle to the end of February. That's the most likely time frame for a Canon EOS R5 Mark II announcement. And sensor size, I don't know. But I'm really, see, I don't care about the sensor resolution too much. I wouldn't be upset if Canon went 45 megapixels. I wouldn't be upset with 50, and I really wouldn't be honestly, I wouldn't be upset with 60. But what I really do want, what I think matters more than anything else to you, to everybody else watching, whether you're a videographer or a photographer, is the sensor being stacked versus BSI, or neither of those two. So let's back up a little bit and talk about what BSI means. So it's backside illuminated, and what that essentially, I won't get into, you can look at the information here that talks about how a backside illuminated sensor is constructed. But what you essentially get is better low light performance and better dynamic range. It doesn't necessarily process information any faster, but stacked, well, that's where you get BSI in a stacked sensor, but you also get the ability to process, to move a whole lot more data, a whole lot more quicker. And so what that will help with is reducing things such as rolling shutter. So having a stacked sensor in the Canon EOS R5 Mark II is going to benefit me. It's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit anybody looking to shoot with a Canon EOS R5. I really do hope it's stacked. We keep talking and arguing, is 60 megapixels enough? What about 45 or 50? Or what if Canon down resolution the camera to 32 megapixels? I don't really care about that. To me, that's all noise. It doesn't really matter. What matters is the type of sensor, regular, BSI, or stacked. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and don't forget to vote in the poll. But that's all I have for today. It's rather slow in the summertime. And as I was doing some homework, I was doing some research the other night, I kind of thought, hey, you know what? This actually would make a good video. I saw so many comments talking about 60 megapixels, saying it was way too much. And most of the people that were talking about the sensor resolution were more or less saying that, yeah, 60 is way too much. They're happy with 45. Very few people said that, yeah, give it to me. Give me 60 megapixels. So really interesting. And if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news and rumors regarding the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, the R1, or even Sony, Panasonic, or Nikon cameras, then go ahead and subscribe, but make sure you also choose all notifications. It really does help this channel grow. And more importantly, it really helps get this channel notified. It really helps get this channel noticed. You see, as soon as I publish a video like this one here, the first thing that YouTube does is blast notifications to all my current subscribers. And if they like the video, YouTube says, okay, let's blast it out to a whole bunch more people. And it keeps doing this until, well, the level of interest drops off. So please, if you did like this video, if you find my content interesting most of the time, please go ahead and subscribe. And for all that minor news and rumors, stuff that isn't quite big enough to, well, have its own separate video, well, then go ahead and follow me on Twitter at this address here. I'm always tweeting out stuff, and especially when it comes to pricing, since Black Friday of 2022, we've seen a ton of sales on. The Nikon Z6 Mark II and Z7 Mark II have been on sale, but right now it's just the Z6 Mark II at $300 off, although that sale might have gone because these were sales up until yesterday. But take a look. I believe the Canon EOS R5 is still on sale, $500 off with a free battery grip at B&H and Adorama, as is the Panasonic S1H at $500 off. And I believe the R3 is still also on sale at $500 off. An awful lot is on sale, so that's why you want to follow me on Twitter. I know I'm not a big fan of Twitter myself. It kind of feels like high school with the chatter and all the nonsense that goes on. Sometimes I get absolutely captivated by all the chatter that goes on, and it seems to be almost like it's a war zone of words and conversation and ideas. And sometimes I engage and sometimes I don't. But a very interesting universe. But for the purpose of this channel, it really serves a very useful purpose of helping me get out information that otherwise would take too much effort to do on YouTube, especially like the Nikon Z8 with that loose strap. There was an update that Nikon is now following this, looking into it. I tweeted that out yesterday instead of doing a separate video. But yeah, so follow me on Twitter, subscribe, choose all notifications. And if you're looking at purchasing anything, please consider using, please consider using my affiliate links down below, because it really does help support this channel and provides funding for the EOS R5 Mark II that I am definitely going to buy, as well as the EOS R1, even if Canon does something silly, like releasing them both on the same day. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. And yeah, they won't do it on the same day. That would just be insane. Cheers.